It's actually very easy to score 20 out of 20 in KCSE essay question on the set books. This year we're going to test Blossoms of the Savannah. Today is February 2022, and therefore we're going just to look at how to develop. We're just going to look at how to develop an essay question that can actually score you 20 out of 20 at KCSE, basing on one of the questions from Blossoms of the Savannah. So the question is, betrayal causes pain and strain in the family. Using illustrations from Henry Olekulet's Blossoms of the Savannah, write an essay to validate this statement. So of course, these are the steps. One, read the question carefully for the purposes of correct interpretation. Very important. And then step number 2, identify the keywords in the question. In this case, the keywords are betrayal, and that is the action of the character. Then the outcome is the pain and strain. And then we have a minor keyword, which is family, that guides you that the betrayal has to be between family members. Once you've done that, you identify the action of the character and its outcome. In this case, the action is the betrayal and the outcome is the pain. So you must capture this throughout, from the introduction all the way to your last point and conclusion. And then lastly, now you come up with points of interpretation. Now, just based on that, when we look at this question, the keywords are very clear: betrayal and the pain. So we look at people who betray others. We identify characters who betray others, and that is Olekaelo and Mama Milanoi, basically, because it happens in the family. So we'll just use different situations to show how the betrayal causes pain to Taio and Rezian. Cool. So the first bit, the first paragraph must be an introduction. The introduction falls on the first paragraph. In the introduction, you demonstrate your understanding of the question. The examiner asks himself, has the candidate understood the demands of the question? So you tell us how you've understood the demands of the question. You simply do it by paraphrasing. That is rewriting the question in your own words. Use synonyms, like in this case, instead of betrayal, you can say, when we double cross those who trust us. And then instead of talking about the pain, you can talk about agony. So in short, you can have an introduction like, we cause those who trust us a lot of untold agony or misery when we double cross them. Okay, so that is just an example using synonyms. Simply simplify the question for the person that's going to mark, and have it as the introduction. In your introduction, you must capture the keywords, and you must also link the keywords. Show a clear relationship between the cause and the effect, that is the action and the outcome. Then lastly, contextualize. That means mention a relevant character or situation, and then you're good to go. Keep it brief, you get 2 marks. Avoid defining terms, and also avoid rewriting the words of the question as they are. For example, betrayal causes pain and strain in the family. Don't simply say, in our society today, betrayal causes pain and strain in the family. You have not introduced, you simply just, hidden the words of the question in the verbosity. All right. And let me read you a sample introduction. Good families are built on trust and love. Family. When we fail or desert our family members, we cause them untold grief. You can see we've captured both the betrayal and the pain in that particular sentence. In Blossoms of the Savannah, Taio and Rezian suffer when their parents betray them. And now we have put it in context. Next, we move to the conclusion. Conclusion is very simple. You simply summarize your argument into one brief statement. Introduce your conclusion with the words "in conclusion." That phrase, "in conclusion," then you can follow it up with the phrase of the word. Here you are allowed to repeat the words of the question. For example, in conclusion, betrayal causes pain and strain in the family. It has to be the very last paragraph, and also keep it brief. Now, developing the body. We expect you to write 4 paragraphs in continuous prose. Don't have any headings or subheadings. and then have clear paragraph. Each point falls on a separate paragraph. The first sentence, also referred to as the topic sentence, must answer the question. So answer the question before you start explaining or illustrating. This helps you to avoid narration. In the first sentence, also make sure to mention a relevant character or a relevant situation, and then make sure to capture at least one of the keywords. Capture one of the stronger keywords of the two, or you can even have both of them, and when you have both of them, show the clear relationship between the cause and effect between the keywords. An example of a topic sentence: Olekaelo betrays his daughter Rezian when he irrationally mistreats her for no apparent reason. Another one: Mama Milanoi betrays both Rezian and Taiyo when she chooses to remain indifferent and aloof to her own daughters, causing them pain. The third one: Mama Milanoi tricks her daughter Taiyo into circumcision, causing her pain and regret. Another one: Olekaelo betrays Rezian when he agrees to marry her off against her will to a wanton criminal called Oloisudori, causing her untold misery. Then Olekaelo betrays his daughter Taiyo when he fails to support her musical aspirations. And then lastly, Olekaelo betrays his daughter Rezian when he refuses to send her to university. Of course, you know the pain Rezian goes through as a result. That is a topic sentence. You can see it captures both keywords, it mentions a relevant character, and it answers the question before we try to illustrate. That helps us to avoid narration. The next step is called the action. Here you give textual illustrations on the character's action. The action in this case is the betrayal, so give us the textual illustrations on the betrayal. The first point where Olekaelo betrays Rezian by hating her, you can find the illustration on page 10 of Blossoms of the Savannah. Page 10 of Blossoms of the Savannah, where we are told he wanted a boy but got a girl, and so just to read: against his expectation and to his utter disappointment, nature had given him another baby girl. And you can see throughout the page he detested her. Rezian instinctively detected the absence of love from her father. She grew sullen, etc. So just to read you a short illustration: he fails his daughter when he mistreats her. He detests her right from birth. He feels cheated by nature since he had prayed for at least 3 boys, but utterly disappointed when she gets a girl. He had prayed for a healthy baby boy to carry the Kaelo's name to the next generation. He is angered by Rezian's body size and intends to dispose of her as soon as possible. And I can go on and on, but you can find more illustrations on page 10 of Blossoms of the Savannah. That is the character's action. Give us details, all right? And then next, you give us what we call the background information. And this is where candidates lose marks. Give us background information, the events. What are the events that lead to the situation? What events lead to the fact that this man hates Rezian to the point that she feels betrayed, she wants to commit suicide, she feels like it's a curse being born a woman? The events that lead to that situation. What events lead to Taiyo's circumcision? So you start all the way from the fact that Oloisudori wanted Rezian, Rezian runs away, and therefore the only thing we can do now is to get Taiyo as a replacement. So give details, demonstrate your mastery of the text here under background information. That is the third step. The fourth step is you give us the outcome. In this case, betrayal was the action and the pain is the outcome. So demonstrate the pain that Rezian goes through, or the pain that Taiyo goes through when the parents betray them. In this case, for instance, we can see just an illustration that Rezian was speechless when it dawned on her that her father had sold her to Oloisudori. She feels it was a curse being born a woman in Asila. She knew he disliked her, but never thought her own father could sell her. She cries in anger and outrage and accuses him of betrayal and hatred. She says it was better to die than marry her father's monstrous friend. He even slaps her with a view of intimidating her into bowing to pressure of his demands. Rezian leaves his office and heads to Nasila River, where she contemplates suicide. She instead chooses to flee from her home with the help of Olarinkoi and embarks on a harrowing, daunting journey to Ntare Naju, not knowing what awaited her. Okay, so that is again the outcome. Details of the outcome, just an example. Then finally give the summary of this of the whole paragraph. Summarize just using one line. That can be called a clincher or a clincher, but just the last line, it must sum up the point. It helps really the examiner to know that you have not lost track. So even in the summary, we need you to capture the main idea or the lesson or the moral that we get from whatever you are discussing, of course mentioning maybe the relevant character again or situation. Just to sum up, the topic sentence is the mirror of the question, and you must use specific words and specific characters and situations. The last sentence is more or less like a moral, and then everything in between is sufficient supporting evidence. If you like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Visit wekati.blogspot.com for more content like this. Check the description for a lot of information on how you can reach me and how you can get more material. And if you have anything else, also leave it in the comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for the support.